Hello everyone, I hope you are fine and doing well, and welcome to another Python lesson. In today's lesson we are going to build a very interesting Python project. The name of this application is Password Generator. As you know, I talked to you about how we use a random module to generate some strong password. So today we are going to build that, and we will see how to use a random module in combination with for loops to generate a very strong password so that the hackers will not be able to hack your account, Google account, Instagram account, or whatever. In this application, I tried to include all the concepts that you have studied so far, like you have studied a random module, and then we talked about some concept regarding list and also variable. We also understood how to receive input from the user and then display that, and how to convert, for example, a string into integer and vice versa. And also finally, in previous lesson I showed you how to iterate or how to use for loops to iterate and to do the repetitive task again and over again. So without further ado, so let's get started. I want to run my code and you will get an idea of how it works. Okay, once I run my code, it tells me and displays a message: welcome to random password generator application. Okay, in this application it asks you, please enter some letters to create the password. Okay, how many letters do you want to include in your password? I say, for example, 4 letters. Awesome. Now it asks you, please enter some characters to create passwords. How many characters do you want? For example, 3. And also, please enter some numbers to create passwords. For example, how many numbers do you want to include? I also want a 4. You can see now your password is, this is my password. And it is very unlikely that the attacker will find out and hack your account. Okay, this is how I build these programs. Right now I want to do it from scratch, and I will show you step-by-step process. Now the first step is to create lists which contains letters, characters, and numbers. Okay, this is the first step. How can I do that? If you remember from previous lessons, we talked about the syntax of list. First of all, I say, okay, this is very long list, so I have already created that. I want to simply copy this. Then I will explain. I want to copy this and put it here. And of course, I want to import my random module. Import random. Alright. As you can see, this is the name of the list. Inside my list, I have multiple items, which is a letter, small letter and capital letter. This is list for letters. And the second list is symbol. It contains special characters. For example, you can see we have @ we have hash, $, and so on. And the third one includes numbers, which starts from 0 to 9. Okay, this is the first step. And the second step, we display a message to the users and ask them to enter inputs for creating password. This is the second step. So as I said, we have to display a message. It is very simple. You use print statement. Print, you say welcome to random number generator. I copy that and paste it here. Right now, if I want to run my code, you can see welcome to random password generator application. Now you have to ask user to enter some inputs. So how can we do that? If you remember from lessons and input function, we use input function and say and ask user, please enter the numbers of letters used to generate password. Now you receive that. You have to store that inside a variable called random letter. As you can see, we have three inputs. Okay, I want to copy my code to avoid wasting time and paste it 3 times. One for letters, second for the characters. You can see characters, so I change it to character, random character, and I have to change it also to characters, and the third one is numbers. I have to change it to random numbers. All right, now if I want to run my code, you can see this is not very professionally written. I have to make it like this so that the user can distinguish where to write the answer. Now, sorry, I have to. As you can see, welcome to the random password generator applications. Please enter the numbers of letters used to generate passwords. I want to use 4 letters, for example. Please enter the number of characters used to generate passwords. I want to use 3 characters and I want to use 5 numbers. Okay. So this is the second step. But in this case, please keep in mind that when you input or for example write input or receive input from the users, it is in the form of string. You can see because it is inside double quotations. So what I'm trying to do, I want to convert it into integers, okay? Otherwise, my code will give an error. This is integer, this is integer, this is integer. Okay, the scan step is done. Now let's go to the third step. In third step, we use loops, for loops, okay? We use for loops to iterate and to iterate this list to create symbols, letters, and digits. How can we do that? Writing the loops. Okay. I say for first of all, I want to create what? Letters. How can I use? For letter in range. Range, I use range function because if you remember from the previous section, if you want to iterate number of times, you have to specify the range. For example, how many times do you want to iterate? In this case, the users have written 4, so in this case you have to specify that. So it should be start from 1 to these numbers. Whatever user have written, it should be inside that, which is random letters. Random letters. All right. Now, here I should have a variable password, which stores password when the user has choose a number of letters. So now what I'm trying to do, I say, okay, please, once this number is generated, I have to do it in another way that you can understand that. So in this case, I use random module to choose randomly letters inside this list. How can I do that? If you remember from the previous sessions, we say, okay, random point. Once I choose point, you can see many functions. Like for this, I use choice. I choose from where? From this list, which is called letters. Letters, right. Now once it's chosen, please store that inside password. It is very well written. Now, since this is not for the first time, it is for example 4 times or 5 times. Once it is choose the first item, it should store that, and then it should append or add another item. So in this case, I say password plus random. Okay, I say please go choose this one. Once you choose that, store that inside this variable password. Okay, once you do that, go for the next letter, for example this one, and also keep the first one and add that to the existing one. Okay, that's why I use this one. Now I want to print that. Let's see, password. If I want to run my code, it asks me how many numbers of letters do you want to use. I'll say 4, 5, 2. You can see it chooses these 3 letters from the letter list. So it is working fine. So I do the same process for the 2 other lists, for example for the symbol and the digits. How can I do that? I simply copy this. I'm writing the same code for that. I just changed it to letter to, for example, character. So in this case we have random character, and it should choose from this list, which is called symbol. Okay, symbol. So now let's run my code again. 3, 4, 5. You can see it choose 2 and some characters. It's working fine, and I want to write another loop for generating numbers. So I change that to number. It should be random number, and it should be digits. Why digits? Because it should be choosing from this list, the numbers inside this list. Alright, my code should be perfect right now. It should be working perfectly. So let's run my code again. As I said, it displays a message. Please enter the number of letters used to generate passwords. I say 4. Now please enter the number of characters used to generate the password. I say 5. Please enter the number of numbers to generate, for example, I say 3. So this is the password that has been generated. Now I want to display a message for the user as well. I say okay. This is the generated password. So if I want to run my code again, you can see now it is more meaningful. This is the generated password. If I want to make a space, 4, 3, 5. You can see this is the generated password. So you can see this is very complex and complicated passwords. Nobody can understand and discover that. In this application, I used letters. I used list, the concept of list, variables, and I worked with module. I explained how to receive input from users and how to convert a string into integers. And finally, I showed you how to use for loops to choose some random characters inside this list. And this is all for today. Thank you very much and have a good day.